I met Sal at a dance in Queens at Sunnyside Gardens.
We used to go to dances once in a while, and we went to a place called Sunnyside Gardens in Queens where we lived. And had a couple of dances with this girl, and she seemed to be receptive to my nonsense, whatever it was. And I decided to ask for a date.
Oh, very handsome, shirt, tie, jacket, very well dressed, very mannerly, and he danced. He could dance.
We were both very much alike, that we were both fairly quiet people. We seemed to like the same things, which I think is a key interest in what brings people together. If one dominates the other in terms of interest, and one does one thing, the other one doesn't want to do that thing, but wants to do only another thing, it won't work out.
Sal was always well dressed. He wore a suit, shirt and tie. He smoked a pipe at that time too.
In those years, one dare not go out on something formal, either to school or to something formal, without a necktie and white shirt.
But he was a good dancer, so we danced several times that night. Then he asked my phone number, and the next call was for a date. And our first date was to Madison Square Garden in New York City to a hockey game.
She was a year older than I, but she was youthful, and she was a very modern dresser.
It was so different at that time because you would just date on the weekends, either Saturday, maybe Sunday afternoon as well. And we would go to maybe a picnic on a Sunday, and out to the movie or the theater or dancing on a Saturday, or out with another couple, to a party. And we were very active.
Always looked very well, and conducted herself very nicely.
He introduced me to the opera further, introduced me to more theater.
So it seemed apparent that this was a match that could succeed.
We went together. I was about 21 when I met Sal. And we got married in 1953, so it was 5 years, but from 51 to 53 he was in service.
Wrote a lot of letters. Wrote a lot of letters.
I didn't write every day, but I wrote several times a week. We did. We corresponded a great deal. It was the Cold War, and he did not go to Korea. He went to Berlin. He was with the CIA.
I don't know if there was a specific proposal. I think that we started going out, and you might say this was a long engagement because I had to finish college, had to go into the Army. That was a 4-year stint before I could get married. So somewhere in those 4 years, with or without direct knowledge, we had extended to ourselves that we were going to be married.
It just seemed to be automatic. We started dating, and we just kept going together. We had a lot in common. We liked each other. We fell in love. We became engaged. And the engagement, of course, lasted a while until he came out of service. But before he left, it was just understood that we were meant for each other.
When I came back, well, I had about 6 months to go. I had to get a job. I had to get a little more money. And so I got back, say, and within 6 months after I got back, we were married.